Hello! Welcome to New Moon Celebrations. This is Rose Martin, and today we're going to take a look at the new moon in Pisces, March 2nd, 2022, and the new biblical month of Adar II, starting on March 4th, 2022. And then we're going to take a look at which area of your life is being empowered at this time. So we have a lot of good insight today. In the biblical days before Yeshua was born, the Wisemen, they were trained in astrology. They learned to read the heavens. They learned to look for signs. They didn't have TV back then and video games or whatever. They were really dependent on the heavens and to understand them. And they were trained to look at the heavens so that they would know when that star, that special star that came for Yeshua, when it came, they would know what to do. And so that is what happened. They saw that star and they went off to go find the Lord. And that training kind of slowed down then. Everything for the last 2,000 years, astrology was banned and in the churches, and it still went on. It still goes on in the Jewish circles and other things, but as far as Christian mainstream, it was banned. But you know what? Just as before, the wise men were being trained in preparation for the Lord's Supper, we are being prepared for his coming also. He's going to come in the clouds, and we are going to know what the heavens are looking like at that time, because the time is now to find out what is going on and how to live our lives through the cycles of God. We're going to learn about the heavens through this time and prepare the bride for the coming of the Lord. And the way we can learn about the heavens, a good way, is to learn through observing the new moon each month. We can take a look at what's going in the heavens and how it applies to our lives, what God is speaking. And in a little bit, we're going to take a look at this new moon right there. You can see the circled part, 12 degrees, sun and moon together in Pisces, 12 degrees, 6 minutes. So that's how we get to learn. And each month there is a new moon in a certain area, like we just saw in that chart, but also in your chart, that moon is like a pointer showing which area is going to get fresh wisdom, insight, energy each new month. We can look at what house that is in our mazel or our natal chart to identify the area that the Spirit is highlighting for us this month. Now, this is one of those things you don't have to, but you get to. As soon as you start searching out to the Lord, what kind of energies, what kind of insights, he's going to give it to you. And of course, right now we are in a big download time that basically whatever you ask for, you can receive. So be careful what you ask for. This month is Pisces and Adar II. Pisces is the 12th sign. It's the end of the Zodiacal Year, and it is a time of finishing up the year before we move on to a new thing. Now, it's also the month of Adar II. It's the 13th month. It's the end of the biblical spiritual year. And it's a month of upheaval, turning everything on its head to figure out a truth. And this is about the Word, figuring out the Word, searching deeper, finding out more so that you can get answers. Now, it's the 13th month because every so often the heavens have to align, the moon and the sun. And if you've noticed the last couple months, we've had like a new moon in, say, example, in Aquarius. And then the biblical month was Adar, which really was Pisces. So it was off by a couple days all the time. And so now we're coming, the 13th month is going to line everything up again. And then by the time Passover comes, then we are going to be in the right swing of things in Aries and Nisan. But right now we're in the new moon of Pisces. Pisces, 12 degrees. It's the end of a spiritual zodiacal year, as I said, and it's a very compassionate sign, idealistic, dreaming, creativity, self-sacrificing, giving to others. This is the last sign. It's mature. It's taken the things that it's learned from all the other signs, and now it's the mature spiritual giving to others because you've learned that's what it's all about. Now, this is 12 degrees Pisces, as we saw. And this is the last of our run of 12 degrees. For the last 6 months, we've had 12-degree new moons, 27-degree full moons in the different signs. This is very unusual because it's always usually in a different degree. So the 12 is very instrumental. It's the sign, a number of completeness, and 12, is all over the Bible there. We've got the 12 patriarchs, the 12 tribes, the 12 disciples, the 12 gates of Jerusalem, the 12 foundations in the heavenly city, and then the breadth and height is 12,000 furlongs. The breastplate had 12 precious gemstones, and 12 crowns on the image of stars that John saw in the heavens. So 12 is very integral. So it's been telling us something, if we could investigate that 12, that this is final. We're done with this in these 6 houses, these 6 areas that the moon has come through. It is a final stage. We're moving on to something new now. 12 is also, if we look at the Hebrew alphabet, it's the 12th. The 12th letter is Lamed. And the Lamed, although the Hebrew letter for this month is Aleph, this in particular, 12 we're studying right now, is Lamed. And that looks like a shepherd's staff. And it comes from the root word Lamed, means to learn or to teach. So look at that, learning and teaching. We've been learning and teaching in all these areas. And this letter is comprised of other letters that make up the Yud He Vav He, the sacred name. It's the Vav, 6, and the Kaf, 20, which makes 26, the Yud He Vav He. And it's also associated with the sign of Aries, the ram, the Lamb of God that takes away the sin of the world. Now look at that. The 12 is ending in the heavens in these signs. Next month it changes to 11. The new moon will be in 11 degrees of Aries. So this cycle of 12 is over. But who is coming? Who is coming at that time? The Lord is coming to take away the sins of the world. He's going to be our number 12 next month when we start everything over. So Yeshua will fill that spot at Passover and the resurrection next month. But right now we are at the final 12, and we've learned so much. We've gone through so much, and we're ready now for the new year to begin. This is also the month of Adar II. March 4th it starts. As I said, the Hebrew month always starts a few days after the new moon, because the new moon is completely darkness. And then the little crescent, the first view, is when the Hebrew month starts. So that's already moving into the moon cycle. And that's why it's March 4th instead of March 2nd. So it's the biblical leap year. And it's a time of upheaval, turning everything on its head to figure out a truth, and especially the Word, and especially the way the Lord works through this time. It's a time of Purim, and the Lulav is the sacred plant associated with Adar II. Adar II is also associated with the North Star. As we talked about the Lulav, that's that sacred plant that is normally associated with the Ertrag at Sukkot. There's the myrtle, the willow, the lulav, and the ertrag. They are waved together in all the directions, north, south, east, west, up, and down on Sukkot. And this is the symbol, the plant for this month. And it reminds us that it's the tallest of those 4 items. It's got a sturdy backbone, and it stands for righteousness. So this is now, through that, if you've ever done that at the Sukkot time, where you take the lulav and the ertrag, the willow branch, and the myrtle, and they have it nicely arranged and packaged in a 1-unit thing here, as this man is holding on the on this picture here, and you wave it in a certain way, 3 times, 1, 2, 3 to the east, 1, 2, 3 to the west, 1, 2, 3 to the north and south, 1, 2, 3, and then up and down. So 6 directions we're going, meaning we're encompassing the whole world. God and his goodness and his mercy and his omnipotence, omniscience, everywhere at one place at a time. He is all around us. And we are acknowledging that when we look at that lulav, that he is with us all the time. And that's what we need to remember now too. He is always with us, our dear God, our Savior, our Lord. Purim is also part of this month. This is a victory for the Jewish people, where they celebrate because of Haman, who was going to destroy the Jews, and they were victorious. In this story, Esther was born for such a time as this. And here it is for us too. We are here for such a time as this. There are tremendous changes going on in the world, and we are here to live through them and to be a part of it, to take our gifts and talents and bring this world to a new place for this new season, this new era. Now, being that the Adar II is an extra month and we don't have one of the 12 houses assigned to it, we only have 12 houses, not 13, it also is associated now with the North Star, not with a house. It is with the North Star, the North Pole, or the Pole Star. And this star can be seen anywhere from the Northern Hemisphere. And it's a guiding light, and it guides the people. Back in the day, they didn't have all kinds of things to guide and GPS and all this, so the North Star was their GPS. It was always there, always visible, and even sailors and fishermen use it now too to navigate the seas. So during this turbulent time, we can use our North Star, the God's star, the fixed in the heavens God, and remember that He is with us. And the way we can identify it is that it's part of the Little Dipper, actually, the Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, the Big and the Little Dipper. And if you look up at the Little Dipper, at the handle of it, that's where that North Star is. So when you need some encouragement at night and you can see the stars, look at that North Star. It's there to remind us God is with us. So here we are now in the new moon in Pisces. Sun and the moon are 12 degrees of Aquarius. Now, each month we take a look and see where the new moon is. The new moon has things around it that show us what else is going on in the heavens. And this is the chart of the new moon, March 2nd, 12:35 p.m. at New York time. So exactly it's lining up. You see the sun and the moon are 12 degrees. They are meeting up together, and God is pouring His wisdom down and energy and insight. Every month has a configuration of the Yod-Heh Vav-Heh that gives it its special energy, along with other things, the seasons, another name of God, the tribes, the zodiac signs. All this makes every month very, very rich. So here we are in Pisces, and you see all the other planets around it. And you may not know the symbols, of course, but if you see right around where the highlighted area is, all of those are planets, and one more to the left, that Uranus and Taurus. So all of them are bunched up in one spot. And especially bunched up at the end of the zodiac. All of these are mature signs, meaning that we are coming to an end of a cycle. And all of the seeds we've planted, all of the fruit of our labor, all of the judgments, all of the good and evil that have come out of that are playing out right now at the end here of all this planetary configuration, very concentrated. And although we are in Pisces, which is a very spiritual, loving, caring, giving sign, we have other things going on as far as Pluto still. That's the one that is still taking down all the structures, and it involves military, it involves destruction, it involves taking things down to the core to build them up again. Now, we're going to be having an impactful time. We're not sure as astrologers, because, we've never been through this exact same configuration. I mean, we know back when all this started that this was a similar thing that happened at Martin Luther's time when he changed the religions, when those eyes were open. It was also a time of the stock market crash in the early 30s. But this time it's coming around in a whole different way. We also have this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that we had that signal a new era, a new time, going from the old to the new, going from structures to freedom and caring for humanity. Authoritarian structures are being dismantled. And so there are still some very strong things going on through the month of March. March could still be a very volatile month. But after that, at Passover, it's going to ease up a little bit, and we're going to be able to move forward in our hopes and dreams and getting this world going. But this is the month now, and this is the time. We got Jupiter in Pisces. We got Neptune in Pisces. Those are the most spiritual planets, the most spiritual sign. That's the Keter. That's the Chesed. That is God's goodness coming together and pouring down for us the blessings and the richness to give us insight during this time and spiritual food that we need. So We got a lot of stuff going on, but each month the Lord shows us an area of our chart where we can get strength and get a little more grounded in that area. So we're going to start taking a look at that now. We're going to look where the moon falls on your chart. So these are the houses we're going to go through. The first house, second house, third, and we'll go through what each of these mean as we go through the houses. 12 areas of life, and each month there's a focus on each one. So we're going to start out right now with your moon. If you have your rising sign in Pisces. Now this is the thing, we're going to go over rising signs now. If you have had your chart done by me, then you can look at your chart and see what the rising sign is. If you knew your time of birth, well, that is going to be there, and you'll know where to follow along and where this falls on your chart. But if you have not had your chart done yet, you can go by your sun sign, and this will apply. Most of you'll get some insight from it, but it's the best if it's in the rising sign. And if you want to get your chart done, if you want to know how your chart works, just email me at my website, newmooncelebrations.com, and I'll send you your birth chart. You need to send me your time because that's important for this, and you can follow along in the next months. Okay, so take a look over there. But right now, we're going to look at the first house of individuality. This is individuality and life. This is about yourself, your identity, your appearance, your personal well-being, your body, beginnings, the first impressions, attitude, inner motivation, your approach to life. This is what the first house is all about. And if your rising sign is Pisces, your moon is in the moon this month, not your moon, but the moon right now that's in the heavens. It shows up in your first house of identity. So with all those things in mind, things that you can think about this month can be, with Pisces, this would be just, you've got Pisces rising, which makes it a big part of your identity, who you are, the first house, how you present yourself. And Pisces being such a giving, self-sacrificing sign, friendly sign, you could ask yourself the questions, are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing too much or too little of the self-sacrifice? Do you have a realistic view of yourself and the world? Are there identity issues that need to have alignment in your life? To be careful to give care and compassion to others without neglecting yourself. And to learn to trust your intuition in the spur-of-the-moment decisions. So this is where you're going to focus on and ask the Lord for insight into this area of the first house of your chart. Then we're going to move on then. If you're Aquarius rising, that will be the new moon is in your second house of resources and values. This is money, values, work, income, material possessions, your daily routines and priorities, habits, your job, work ethic. So this is Aquarius rising, moon in the second house. So you would get together with the Lord, the Spirit, ask him, what are my values? Am I too generous or undisciplined with money? This is the house of money. And being Pisces in that sign, it's a money is not so serious for you, so you're very generous with you. Is your self-worth dependent on your money and possessions? How do you value yourself? Are there hidden talents that you have that need to be developed? So that is the second house. Now the third house is the house of communication and learning. This is the mind, thinking, early education, primary religious instructions, communication, speech, logic, brothers and sisters, near relatives, not parents, social and community activity, immediate environment, neighborhood interaction, and short distance travel. On your chart it would look like this, Capricorn rising, and your third house is where the moon shows up. Questions to ask. And of course you can ask whatever the Lord shows you, however the Spirit moves you. This is just a guideline to get started. How do you communicate with others? Is there something that you wanted to learn more about? Do you avoid communication with others? Have you been too dreamy with your thoughts, trying to escape reality? Ask God for clarity of thoughts, being able to organize your plans. And if you have any issues with siblings, maybe if they need attention, maybe this time you will find out the answers, how to heal that situation. So that's the third house. Move on to the fourth house, the house of home and foundation. This is your home life, your family, your roots, your parents, ancestors, heritage, early family foundation, self-care, domestic life, land you own, comfort, and security. So if you've got the moon in the 4th house, you've got Sagittarius rising, and questions to ask about this area is your home a tranquil, private place to retreat from the outer world? Because with Pisces there in that house, you like to have a private place to retreat from. What spiritual lessons did you learn from your upbringing? Do you need healing for absent or detached parenting in your younger child, or even now? And are there family relations that need to be strengthened? 4th house. 5th house is the house of will and creative expression. This is your will, self-expression, fertility, children, joy, pleasure, romance, speculation, drama, childlike spirit, games of chance, speculation, all places of enjoyment, entertainment, schools, sporting events, creative talents. A lot of things in that house. That is creativity. Scorpio rising, moon this month in the 5th house. So ask, are there new creative outlets that you need to find to express yourself? Are there issues that you have with your children that need to be realized? Are you serving your loved ones selflessly? Is it time to start new personal interests, hobbies, sports, teaching? Start to teach, being the teacher. And become more childlike and have a little more fun. Can you have fun again? How do we have fun again in these times? That's what we can learn about. And those with Scorpio rising, that might be a little clear for you this month. Next is the 6th house, the 6th house of service and discipline. And this is discipline such as health, fitness, diet, your work habits, the way you analyze things, systems and organization, hobbies, small pets, sicknesses, injuries, sense of usefulness, service given to others. So your little pets are in this area too. But this is how you organize things. Your 6th house. 6th house is that work house. So do you need to adjust work habits for your health? Balancing the need to have healthy work habits and unselfish devotion to your work or service to others. You like to give. You like to give. You want to do someone else's work instead of your work. You want to give to other people. So this is what you look at. Are you doing that a little too much? Oversensitivity to health issues. You have to guard against becoming a hypochondriac. All kinds of little things bothering you. And check to see if you're desiring to escape from your professional responsibilities, from your work responsibilities. So that's the 6th house. Then we move to the 7th house of partnerships and marriage. This is where your committed relationships show up, your partnerships, business relationships, legal contracts, the equality between your partner and your spouse, open enemies. Once your spouse is no longer your spouse, they become open enemies. Kind of works that way. The public, your interpersonal style, it's all legal contracts. Those are also enemies, but we hope we don't have too many of those. But that is in this area too of the 7th house. If your rising sign is Virgo, the moon is in the 7th house. So this month ask, do you need to find inner peace and compromise with your marriage or a close partnership? Are you giving too much? Are you being taken advantage of by your partner? You can learn about understanding others and emotional involvement from your partner. Do you need healing from a divorce or a separation? How can you add more spirituality to your marriage? These are things that you can ask if you've got Virgo rising. 8th house is the house of death and transformation, other people's money. So this is deep life-changing experiences, death, inheritance, regeneration, secrets, deep spiritual insights, intuition, intimacy, shared finances, taxes, loans, investment, assets, taboo issues, other people's money, partners' resources. That's another jam-packed house. So you ask to develop your strong sense of intuition. This is a very intuitive house, dealing with deep, deep spiritual insights, death, transformation, everything that deals with death, inheritance, as I said. So anyhow, it has intuition too. Do you need healing from repressed or hard to recall trauma, things that happen in your life that just deep down just hurt you so bad? This is where this kind of stuff is stored. How to help others with what you've experienced. recovery and transformation through death, loss, or injury. This is how big major changes. But how have they changed you? How have those big things happened and changed your life? And you can understand more of the deep mysteries of life in this house when the moon is in the 8th. Ask the Lord for insight into these areas and healing. 9th house is the house of higher spiritual knowledge and foreign places. It's wisdom, philosophy, spirituality, higher education, legal system, law, religions, mystical matters, ideals, sleep, dreams, publishing, foreign places, cross-cultural relations, long-distance travel. Now, each one of these houses has a lot of areas that it covers. But when you look at the whole chart, it all comes together. We're just kind of looking at one little area here. And you're not going to be involved with every one of these things every month in your life. But this is the area that we ask for guidance in. That's the 9th house of higher knowledge and foreign places. So here we have the moon in the 9th house. Call on the Spirit to give you a download on your spiritual insight and understanding at this time. Very, very powerful. This is the natural ruler of Jupiter, which is right now just energy, spiritual insight, love flowing from God. It's a time to learn something new, get higher education in something, in an area of your life, and in spirituality. Are you interested in writing a book and want new understanding of foreign countries? These are just topics to ask the Lord about this month. 10th house, career, social standing, status, authority, reputation, the house of responsibility and public status. This is when you rise to be, your advancement, your career, your ambition, your boss, long-term goals, aspirations, structure, public image, men, experts, your recognition. And if the moon is in your 10th house, you've got the Gemini rising right now. So what does this mean to you? What does success mean to you? Does it mean to help others? Many people with Pisces in their 10th are very interested in helping others and have careers possibly in hospitals and institutions and just ways, volunteering, helping people in many ways. So is your career impactful and important in helping others? You can clarify your goals and ambitions rather than leaving them vague. And you could learn to trust your instincts in finding people to give you advice and direction. That's the 10th house. And the 11th house then is your house of groups, friends, and hopes. Groups, friends, social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, hopes, wishes, the future. The things to ask if the moon right now is in your 11th house, ask for wisdom and guidance in the choice of friends. Ask for healing for the times when your generosity was taken advantage of by these friends. Ask for insight into what groups to join at this time to help with the current situations in your community and in the world. What dreams need to be revised or awakened? That is the 11th house, rising Taurus. And then finally the 12th house, which is the house of endings, seclusion, spirituality. Closure, solitude, old age, afterlife, what's hidden, limiting beliefs, the subconscious. So this is an area now, if you have Aries rising, it's in your 12th house, and this is where you yourself could be your own secret enemy, where you have self-sabotaging beliefs and actions that keep you from living to the fullest. Learn how to deal with the feelings of aloneness, because even though you care so much for other people and other people's welfare, you still are subject to being alone. You want to be alone. You want to recuperate and recover and heal from the hurts, because you give so much of yourself, it causes hurts in yourself. So we need to ask the Lord for increased spiritual wisdom this month and protection from self-deception and escapism. It's a very powerful house, very powerful time to clean all those things out. Ask the Lord to deliver you and cleanse you. So we take time now to meet with the Lord about the overall themes of the month and then how to apply it to your life. What can you learn? Ask God to fill you with the special aligning energies that are available this month for your life. And in order to prepare ourselves to be strong and to be able to live our life this month with all the wonderful insights and blessings that we've gotten, we should remember this Lulav. The Lulav is the sacred plant associated with Adar II. Now, we don't need an exact Lulav. We can do a spiritual Lulav and do the motions. Here we have the Lulavs are the palm fronds, not opened yet. The divine light of God is that sharp, as we go up and down with a sharp point going up and down, the three in each direction. We're calling forth, first of all, as we move the four species. Now, we talked about before about the Lulav and the Ertrag and the myrtle and the willow coming together, but we're just talking about the Lulav now. We can visually protect ourselves, claim God as the ruler of the universe and our lives by going ahead and just standing there. We could put our hands in a prayerful position and use that as our Lulav and start facing the east, and 3 times, 1, 2, 3, go down about a foot, up and down, and then bring it back to your heart and go towards the west, up and down. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, to thine be the glory and the power forever and ever. We are praying to God to protect us, and we acknowledge him north, south, east, and west, up and down, out and within. He is our God. So we can use that spiritual principle this month. And then to look at that North Star, fixed in the heavens. Look up, just as we look up to the moon, and remember that as a cycle ends, there's hope for a new beginning. But we can look at God's stability and his power and be reminded that North Star is fixed in the heavens. And God is always fixed, never changing, always there for us. So here we have now looked at all 12 houses and an overview of the new moon in Pisces and the biblical month of Adar II. I hope you've been blessed by this. If you want to know more about yourself, I encourage you to visit newmoonscelebrations.com. I've got a book there, Your Destiny Discovered, Astrology for Believers. And this goes over your primary star pattern, the sun, moon, and rising sign. The sun, moon, and stars that were created on the 4th day of creation by God as signs and indicators. And first of all, you can just request your birth chart just for free of charge. Request that, and I'll send you that. And if you want more, we've got this book available for purchase. And with it comes an interpretation of your sun, moon, and rising sign by me. We can have a half hour of time speaking together, and I can show you what your chart is all about. So anyhow, I thank you for joining me today. I pray you have a blessed month, and I pray that you finish up the loose ends, tie it all up, get free, and prepare yourself for the new time that's coming. We got a tumultuous time the rest of this month, and it should start easing off a bit, even though, nothing's going to be perfect yet, but make some progress forward starting in April, after we have gotten a lot of this mess out of the way. We're under reconstruction now. Don't lose hope. A good thing is coming. We've just got to get all through this. We're at the end of a stage, end of a cycle, and it'll be a couple years before it gets back to the new normal, which will be more wonderful. But the beginnings of it are going to be starting. So don't lose hope. It's happening right now, where we're going to find our place to be in this big redo of the world. For such a time as this, you are here. And we're doing this together as one new man in Messiah. So God bless you, and I'll see you next month. Shalom.